All right, guys, welcome back to the Effort series. We're continuing our coverage, our spotlight of Effort, and probably right now, as you're watching this, I'm driving to Tokyo, taking my mother-in-law to see grandma, her mom. Gonna drop her off there and then drive her right back. Probably I am completely exhausted and tired of driving at this point. But I will be back for the SCSL and KCM at the end of the week. Until then, leaving you guys some replay casts, some casts of Effort games that are kind of showcasing what he's doing and how he's doing here in June of 2025. He is the Alien Zerg. You'll understand that nickname if you look at some of his older photos. He doesn't look quite the same anymore. He's kind of bulked up a little bit, as most of us have here in our older age. But when he was young, when he was a teenager, a young spry guy, did have kind of a unique look to him and earned himself the nickname the Alien Zerg. And he was the one player who was able to consistently beat Flash in tournaments, and pretty much the only person who could say that is coming back now, right at the time when Flash is making his return to tournament play. So that's exciting, very exciting to have Effort back in 2025. He's been gaming like crazy, making a lot of matches, finding a lot of matches against pro players, and so I have a full collection to go through, and I'm gonna break it up into multiple different videos to keep you guys entertained here while I'm gone. This is Snow, by the way, not a barcode. This is Snow down here in the bottom left. Well, he is on a barcode, but he's not just an anonymous player. We know who this is. Snow versus Effort. This could be like a ASL finals, guys. This is the, you know, maybe a bit of foreshadowing here. Snow has been getting closer and closer to taking a finals and taking an ASL victory, just kind of shy of that. And I don't know who can stop Effort. Like, it's not going to be Soul Key, right? ZVZ is not Soul Key's forte. He's been avoiding it, and successfully so, for quite a long time. But he's avoiding it for a reason, and Effort is just incredibly good once he gets going, and we're seeing how far he's actually gotten going here. We saw his game versus Light in our last video, and quickly today, Snow. Handling this early aggression, handling these early few lings, pushing in and pressuring him initially. He does manage to kill off one of those lings, and that's kind of important. Only 3 lings on this side of the map to try to maybe slip past. Zealot gonna turn around now, as a third Zealot finally does pop out. Third Zealot is usually when this aggression kind of ends, and the Protoss can get back to mining over here in the natural. Or can at least start that mining over in the natural. Here comes the Forge. Going Forge after gas. Gonna pull the probe back into the main. Target fire on this probe pretty good. Nearly gets that. Hasn't gotten any damage so far. At least no tangible probe damage has gone down. Ling speed is finishing up now. He's bought enough time. Oh, he loses the Ling there at the last second. Can he get into the wall before the Lings arrive? Lings are on the way. Get in the wall. Oh my gosh. He's not getting in the wall. But he still has Zealot and Probe on the ramp. Can he target down that Probe? Oh my goodness. He is going to get it. 3 Lings managed to make it into that main base. Very unfortunate here for Snow. He wasn't quite on top of that to get the Zealots into the wall. 2 Zealots on the top. 1 Zealot below the Forge will be Ling tight. And now he's got to build a cannon in the main, guys. This is not optimal, for sure. And he's losing a lot of mining time on the gas. So he's really going to be lacking on that gas here going forward. In fact, built the second gas to kind of make up for it. Here comes the Corsair back at home for Effort. He's ticking along nicely. has his third base up and operational. And has a Hydra Den here, so maybe looking to bust. However, Lair finished back at home, so I'm curious about what his future plans are. Maybe just a fake bust, fake Hydra bust. That's a lot of lings he made, by the way, too. Maybe expecting, as those lings ran by, for Snow to just throw all of his zealots across the map in a counterattack. But that's not the case. He just sits back at home, waits, and deals with this. Deals with the lings in his main base by just chasing it around and getting a cannon down. He's not going to take any more damage here. And in fact, he's going to push out with these zealots now. Oh, this could be a big moment for effort. Running by and killing the cannon. As these zealots come out, he's going to have that opportunity. Oh, he's just going to go after the zealots here. Catching these zealots. They don't have +1, so they will just die immediately. Hydras are coming out now. But if you are being made, the Corsair did spot everything. It sees the evolution chamber and lack of Spire, plus the Hydra Den and the Hydras here at the rally point. Catches the Zealot. Not going for that counterattack I thought he would, though. Not going for the run by to try and kill the cannon at the natural. Second Corsair comes out, sees the lings coming. Second cannon is on the way. Snow being a little lackluster. Gotta get these in the wall, man. Get these things in the wall. Ah, ling run by. Nice pull there on the probes, but the lings are gonna get on top of that. 2 lings hitting the cannon is not enough. You need 3 lings hitting it to kill it. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. You get what I'm saying, right? If you get 3 lings on the cannon, it dies much faster. Just 2 lings hitting that. And the cannon can deal enough DPS. It has enough time to kill the lings, so. Photon cannons are going to finish up. This one pretty darn low, but this one right here is critical. This is the cannon that can prevent Hydras from hitting. Maybe you can hit from an angle over here. Just barely, but it's not easy. Any overloads go down? No Overlord kills so far, so okay, 1 Overlord kill here. So that Corsair managed to get 1. We're gonna go ahead and look. There is 1 top left. Burrow on the way. Interesting choice. Going for Burrow this early on. And oh wow, there is a robo that was made. He's going for Reaver. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting the Reaver play, but it makes sense when you see Hydras this early. He was expecting some sort of Hydraless bust. Reaver does build faster. You can get the Reaver out faster than you can get Templar with Storm. To just sort of be that static defense along with the cannons to make it harder to bust. But I don't know if he really wants to go full in with Reaver. It looks like he just wants to make 1. He's going to get Robotic Support Bay and Speed on that shuttle, so that it can't be easily taken out. Burrow here is playing a big role. You can see he's got those lings in the front. Scoping that out. We'll see where that shuttle is headed. Now it's kind of in a dark zone, though, so he's not really sure. This is a big target right there. If you can land the Reaver down in this corner, really hard to dislodge. Gonna fly in now towards this base. Coming up on the low ground. Nice target fire on that shuttle, bringing it pretty low, taking some hit points off of it. Scourge coming out here. They're going to start to connect. Scourge connecting on some of these Corsairs. Going to drop the Reaver in behind. Going after the shuttle. Can he get it? No. Reaver dropped over here on the right-hand side. Does get a shot off. 2 kills. Just kind of dodging around here with the shuttle. Keeping that alive while juggling this Reaver is something that only Snow can do. My goodness, that's some excellent juggling and dodging at the same time. Oh, he loses it. Big moment there as Effort gets it from the low ground, kills off that shuttle, and now can deal with the Reaver here. Just got to spread him. Make sure that he doesn't take too much damage. Maybe lose, 3 Hydras here, but it is absolutely worth it to get rid of that Reaver. Heading back home now, and yeah, he doesn't really have observatory as far as I know. No observers out here. He's building more Reavers, and he is adding on gateways to follow this up with Zealot High Templar, and Possibly Dragoons. Yeah, in fact, Dragoon Singularity Charge coming online. But he can't take a third. He cannot really do much right now. He's going to send this probe out. He can put a pylon and then build cannons and then take a third, but he can't take a third easily. A lot of Scourge out on the map, and there's only 4 Corsairs, so that's not going to be enough to deal with these Scourge effectively. Keep that Reaver alive. He's going to drop the Reaver on high ground. Maybe with the Reaver and a few cannons, he can hold that third base. There's a lot of Hydras out here, and a lot more are incoming. Going up to 48 workers. We're going to see a 4th base here really soon, I imagine. You don't need 48 workers to just make on 3 bases. Running away, realizing that it's probably not going to work out in his favor. Doesn't have those cannons online, so just giving up the 3rd base for now. He's checking around. He sees no 4th from effort. Then so, I mean, he's still comfortable to just sit here on 2 bases. He can't do it for much longer, but at least he knows that effort isn't, you know, expanding all over the place and getting way ahead. Zealots are going to trade up pretty nicely. They have 1-1. They're going to be able to get on top of some of these drones, maybe get a few kills. Drones being burrowed here in the natural just to keep some of them alive, but didn't burrow all of them. Only burrowed about 12. Going to burrow some in the main as well. Keep those alive. Pretty good use of that ability. And we'll keep his drone count very healthy. Time to take a 4th here, effort. 55 drones and no 4th base is a little bit crazy. You're going to mine out quick with that many drones on just 3 bases. You're going to mine out as fast as the Protoss player at that point. So he does need to get that base online soon. Reaver shuttle with 2 Reavers inside of it. Still can't deal with this one damn Hydralisk that's burrowed here. Might have to shoot his own Zealot to kill that with a Reaver. You can do that. Just bring the Zealot over here and then shoot it. Get the splash damage to kill. Or just Storm. Storm is a little bit more expensive of a resource, though. You don't want to waste that. Oh, almost gets the shuttle there. Big moment as the shuttle takes a lot of damage. 26 HP left on that. He needs that shuttle to juggle these Reavers. Looks like he did manage to clear that out. I think it might have been with the Storm guys. Oh, no, there's the Observer. So he is able to clear that out. Starts his 3rd base. 4th base on the way here for effort. A lot of Hydras popping out here. Scourge everywhere. Effort's vision is crazy. Look at how much vision he has. Kind of a blank zone over here on the left-hand side. Might want to spread some Overlords a little bit more over to that side because shuttle could slip through. But other than that, man, his vision is supreme. He has complete control. Even gonna, yeah, look, he sees it. He's like, all right, I need something over there. Let's go ahead and get a couple of Scourge over to that corner. Scourge on patrol are kind of unreliable, guys. I'm not a big fan of putting these on patrol, but they do cover a little bit more space. It's just a lot of the time they won't even aggro onto things that are so close to them. It's ridiculous. But having the 2 sets, I really like. He's got these ones to spot, and he's got these ones to intercept, because you're never going to catch that that shuttle as it moves forward, right? The shuttle can just run, and the Scourge won't be able to catch it. But if you have these extra Scourge on the intercept path, if it starts chasing, then the shuttle, you know, it runs away from the Scourge, and then the other 2 Scourge can intercept. It's big if you can get rid of that shuttle. Anytime the opponent is going for Reaver play, shutting down that shuttle is massive. We've got some Corsairs flying around the top side. Probably won't find too much, just 3 of them, so Scourge are going to be very effective at clearing those out. Just moving over to this center left as Snow tries to take that. May end up bringing the Reavers over there to that high ground. Almost impossible to get Hydras up that tiny ramp with the mineral field on it, while the Reavers are raining down fire on that. I would like to see him clear out these mineral patches, though, on his side. Clearing out those mineral patches really helps the defender Like, you get rid of that patch, you can send these Dragoons up onto the high ground so much faster than if you have the patch there. So, it would be nice to clear those out. I even do it myself as a Zerg player just to get lurkers up there a little bit faster, and it seems like a lot of the pro players just don't think about it yet. Even though you could easily send a couple of probes over there to deal with that. Doesn't take long. How many minerals is that? Only 2 returns, that's it. And then they can go back to mining at the regular mineral patches. And I think they even do it automatically. Like, if you click this probe there, it'll mine that twice, and then it'll just go back to mining here. Same thing on this side. Goes back twice, and then it just mines here. A lot of lurkers being made. Sticking on... Oh, actually, he is making this transition. There we go. Defiler Mound is coming up here at the 16-minute mark. Gonna get those Defilers online. Lings with Adrenal coming up here, too. This push is kind of scary. Trying to engage into this is pretty rough with those 2 Reavers in the mix. He's also getting into Maelstrom right now. Maelstrom's going to come online soon. Some Dark Archons, I guess, are going to be made here. Just pushing forward. That's a lot of Dragoon Reaver, man. Dragoon Reaver. Pretty scary, hard to deal with. Until you really get the Defilers online. Start to throw down those Dark Swarms and then plague the Reavers. That's the big thing. Once you get the plague on the Reaver, the whole dynamic changes. Because the Reavers just die so quickly, you can run up and start to snipe them. Whereas if you try to run up and snipe full HP Reavers, the Dragoons deal so much damage and the Reavers just explode everything. It's crazy. Oh, big engagement here in the center. Gonna try and surround this army. Some pretty good storms there on the left and right. The lurkers running in. It's so hard to engage like this, but he is gonna get up and get a few good spines off. Still, the Reavers will be juggled back, and they've got a lot of kills on them combined. Quite a good number of kills on those 2 units. And he is going to be able to draw back and just clear out Hydras with pretty good efficiency. Here comes the lurkers now. He's right up against the wall, so no real space to draw back to. Oh, he keeps us alive with 11 HP. That's crazy. One more shot from a Hydra would have killed that. Lurkers over here in the top left. Looks like he had a base going there, but wasn't able to keep it alive. 6-kill Dragoon finally meets its end. The hands of those lurkers. And I think we're going to see a drone head to bottom right now. Maybe double expand. 1 base up here, 1 base down there, and then just hold whichever one that Snow decides not to attack. Some Zealots coming out. They've gotten a +3 already. It's only +1 armor, so in this case, there's not going to be that advantage for the Zerg player. Finally running up on top of these Reavers. They weren't fully surrounded by Dragoons and Zealots, so takes the opportunity to run up and snipe that down. Very good play from Effort to finally get rid of that Reaver. Are we going to see more Reavers? Seems like not. Seems like no more Reavers here for this game. Going to run around with the drone and let Zealots take this lurker damage. Ling's coming down here. Loses that. That's a little bit unfortunate. Still 2-shotting on these Lings, but eventually will get overwhelmed. Push up here, in towards the middle. Lurkers holding the line. Dark Swarm comes down. Effort does get a good plague out finally on top of a lot of these Dragoons, but is running out of units. Where are all the units? Look at the rally point is empty right now for Effort. Is he gonna break? Bunch of storms going down on these eggs, and Effort's just barely not able to get in here. Lurkers coming down from top left. Actually, the top left Lurkers are still there, but the Lurkers at top center were brought through to try and hold this. Oh, there's still a few too many Zealots and not enough plague on this stuff. The upgrades are too good. Snow is just taking too good of a fight. He's pushing up towards the entrance here now. The natural, and getting on top of the rally point is rough. You can see Link's just coming out and dying for free, and he is going to be able to get on top of this Hydralisk Den. GG, well played. All right. Effort not quite at that level yet to take on Snow head to head, even using a bit of that finesse, going for a Reaver play here against Effort and making it work. Some of that awesome juggling of the Reaver, the dance of flying around the shuttle and picking up the Reaver and running away was pretty cool. You really only see Snow able to do that type of stuff while macroing and controlling the rest of his army at the same time. Anyone else is gonna have to put their full attention into that, but Snow is just so adept at keeping those Reavers alive. He does very good damage with them, and although it looks scary for a moment as Effort was trying to surround the army down here, the trading was just too good, and Effort wasn't able to get his upgrades online during all of that as well. In that game versus Quickly and from the last video, he just had such good upgrade timings. He was really adept with that. Here, he got the quick 3 Evo chambers, but he just wasn't quite keeping up on it. And so Snow gets a big advantage and able to just push through right into this natural. GG, well played. Let's jump into our next game. Here we go. Effort, bottom right. Rich over here in the bottom left. There's a lot of good Protoss players, guys. I was just thinking about this. So many good up-and-coming Protoss players that just haven't quite hit that stride yet. Right, we've got Rich here, Quickly, Ruin, Paralyze, Noob. So many strong Protoss players who are just at that like 90th percentile, and they're looking for that last 10% to push them into stardom, into winning some of these tournaments. Some of these guys have won things like the ACS, the Africa Challenge Series, where players who have never been in the ASL compete to try and win a spot, a seed into the ASL. But none of them really shining as brightly as players like Snow or Best just yet. Maybe that'll come in the future. Overpull here from Effort. What are we going to see out of Rich? It looks like he's angling for Nexus first. Can you really get away with that? I think he might have to throw down a Forge here to be a little bit safe, but he's going to go for a pretty greedy Nexus regardless. Forge comes down. We'll just mine one time here. Throw down the Nexus and then cannon as soon as possible. Might have to cut a probe or two, but wants to get that Nexus down immediately. So gonna cut probes here at 13. Trying to block the natural hatchery. Doing a pretty good job thus far. 330 minerals in the bank for Effort, and he indeed has to make some lings first. Make some lings before throwing down that hatchery. So it was even higher than 330. I think it was around 400 minerals banked up when he would love to throw down that hatchery. It's just been slowed down quite a bit. Good control here from Rich, trying to keep on top of this drone. One cannon is a bit greedy, but it looks like he's gonna get away with it. This is some punishment like I was talking about earlier. Going for overpool. It can be punished, but mostly by greed. It's not like you can punish it with a cannon rush or, you know, early zealots or anything like that. It's a solid ladder build that is usually punished by a bit of greed from the Protoss player. So he's managed to get this cannon out just in the nick of time with the gateway here at the front. And of course, that Nexus goes down really nice and early as the assimilator already. Extractor is ahead of that assimilator, so he should be able to go for layer and get himself into a spire in time to defend the initial Corsair. But you can see here, Rich is very happy with this situation. He's got a nice little defensive spot. He does need 2 zealots to fully wall this in. But he'll have those zealots out here soon, and he hasn't really had to commit very much to the early defense. Just the one cannon. Checking with the probe, making sure that there's no more lings popping out here that might have him, you know, forced into a defensive position. You're just going to send the first zealot out on the map. Try to sneak over to that third base if you can. Get a little harassment going. Maybe just push the drones away from the mineral patches for a few seconds. That'll be enough for him. It's actually going to meet the ling out on the map and catches it. Pretty nice catch there, forcing another 2 sets of lings out. Those are going to be made in the main base. There's the spire coming down as the Stargate's about halfway done. And so, yeah, he will have Scourge in time for sure. Oh, get that probe. Oh, the probe is so slippery, man. Get it. There it is. He does get it. Sell it. This is the Commando Zealot over here in the top center. On top right, excuse me. He's got his ghillie suit on. He's hiding out in the bushes. Nobody can find him. Nobody can even see him. The ling here. This is like the sniffer dog that might just find out where exactly is that. Oh, run by over to the main base, managing to slip a couple of lings through. And Rich is going to have to build a cannon here in the main. I mean, you're going to build this cannon anyway to deal with potential Scourge camping on top of that Stargate, but it's a little bit frustrating here to get these lings in now. He can't really mine gas. That's going to be slowing down his gas mining, and although he does have the natural gas, you'd love to be mining a fully here on both those gases. Get your Templar archives at a good clip and continue this Stargate production. Yeah, that sniffer dog does find the little ghillie suit Commando Zealot here over in the corner. He thought he was hidden, but he couldn't hide the smell. And he sniffs it out, finds that little Zealot over there in the corner. Nice job by Effort. Really takes a lot of extra tension and time to not only, like, he's running around with lings in the main right now and sending zealots everywhere to go and find, or lings everywhere to go find. Actually, maybe the Overlord found that. It's on that trajectory. Maybe it did find that. It's a little bit funny. Some Scourge are going to be popping out here, forcing the Corsairs back. In fact, just one Corsair. And it looks like it took one Scourge hit. Might have actually lost a Scourge. I'm not so sure about, or not, maybe lost a Corsair. I don't know. Might have missed that. DT on the way. But I'm liking the position here for Effort. He's really had an answer for everything. He's gotten rid of the Zealots that came out initially. And he's not relying on mutas at all. He's really focusing on this Hydra style. We can see all of his games so far against Quickly and Snow. He's been going for this Hydra style and making it look good. Looks like he's going to target down one of these Zealots. Can he get it? Oh, just barely not able to get that Zealot. Looks like that one Hydra's going to go down. Trying to pull out the weakened Hydras. Doing a pretty good job thus far. Oh, one more Hydra gonna fall. That's unfortunate. Some good back and forth there between Rich and Effort in this early game. DT gonna slide in. 4 Hydra's here to answer. Oh, the DT does react in time to pull away, but takes quite a significant amount of damage. Hydra's come all the way to the front, but he knows now the DT is there. The DT is ready, and so can't quite push up to this front here with the DT on the prowl, looking for kills. Where is Overlord's speed? Does he actually have that done at this point? He really should get that online here. Okay, there it is. Overlord speed is done. But he's not using it to try and track down this DT just yet. Drone gonna hand it over towards that top right, 4th base. Is in the mix here, in the mind for Effort. But a good count of gateways, 8 gates, including this one at the natural. And 40 workers with 6 more on the way. He's hitting his stride. Once you have 45 workers, 6 hatch production of pure Hydra, and once this extractor's online, going into a bunch of lurkers is going to be possible. Target on 1 zealot and run. Very nicely done. This is classic Zerg play. Does lose 2 Hydras there, but it's unavoidable. Hydras, they sometimes bounce off of each other. Like, look at that. That's so frustrating. I hate it when that happens, but even the best players in the world can't make their Hydras walk away properly when you click them. But he baited out a storm from one of these early High Templar, lowering that energy and setting himself up for later. Killed a Zealot as well. Might target another Zealot here. Yeah, 1 Zealot does go down. More Hydras coming up. Zealot's getting right on top of this. As more Hydras arrive, though, can he actually fight this? A lot of the Zealots are very, very low. Can he actually kill this? Got to target down the low HP ones. This one on the left-hand side, that one's got to be targeted. He's not going for it. Okay, he does get rid of it. Well, more Zealots do arrive. Got Maelstrom with the Dark Archon here. Mutas are going to be made? Yes, they are. What a few mutas being made here. Oh boy, this could be really, really rough. If he loses all of these mutas to just a single Maelstrom Storm combo, it's going to be devastating. Mutas are coming out now, dealing with some of these initial Zealots, and you know, Rich is just tickled by the fact that he's made this many mutas. He looks at that, and all he sees is opportunity. Opportunity to get huge value out of this Dark Archon. Zealot makes, or no, that's a probe over here in top right. Gonna make a macro hatchery as well. Effort. Getting into the full 4-base economy. Seems like he wants to stay on Layerman, though. Layerman is possibly just gonna get completely wiped out here. Beautiful Maelstrom, not getting absolutely every muta in the Maelstrom, but he does clear out every single muta at the end of the day. Oh my goodness, this is incredibly painful. The counter now from Rich is going to be so hard to stop. +2 is nearing completion, but the Hydra number is just not there, man. He's got some Hydras, but he just does not have the bulk, the mass that he needs to take this on. Of course, without armor, though, no armor here for Rich. And there, I don't see an observer either. No observer? You usually don't go lurkers with this. Where is the observer? There's an observatory, but lurker running past. This lurker making a run for it. Hightailing it over towards that center left. He wanted to go over to that 3rd base. Oh, Storm on these Hydras. He's trying to pick off some High Templar. Wasn't able to do it with his mutas, so he goes for it with the Hydras there, and he's only able to kill 1 High Templar for like 10 Hydras. That's rough. Lurkers here are keeping him alive for now. Hydras over in this top right-hand corner. No lurkers up there yet, and no Nidus, of course, because he doesn't have Hive. Starts +1 armor. But we'll never get +3 attack. +3 attack on the way here. Or Rich. Oh, lurker over here. That's that lurker that ran all the way around, I think. Got 2 kills, but I don't think it was kills on probes. Maybe on some Zealots earlier on. Little counter attacks are helping to keep effort in this game, but the army is just looking very good for Rich, and there's not a lot of answers to all these storms that are going to be available. Going to get some amazing storms with these High Templar, and of course the Maelstrom comboing with that just being so effective. There's a great Maelstrom there. And Dark Archon should be pulled back. Doesn't have energy to continue on with this, but I'm going to keep it in the mix for now. Lurker's getting taken down. Hydra's going to try to run forward. He's got to snipe a couple Templar. He cannot engage this fully. with so many storms available. Great storms here on the top side, backing away. There's another great storm. Dragoons pulling back to the high ground. Rich doesn't have a reinforcement train here just yet, and the Hydras are actually taking a reasonable fight. It is a 50% miss chance going up this high ground, and so it's a little bit rough to take this fight, but he wants to kill off as many Dragoons as he possibly can. He gets rid of the Archon as well. Zealot train making its way over to the top right. Can he pull back and make a Lurker on that ramp? Go, 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 go. He will make the Lurker on the ramp and block this out. Oh, no. All right, just gonna stop with all the Hydras there. Does manage to block the Zealots out, and on 4 base, this is still very good for effort. It's just adding on an extra evolution chamber now. Is he gonna go into Queen's Nest? Finally switch it up into Hive. +1 armor finally coming for Rich. He was avoiding that for a long time, kind of to his detriment. That armor makes such a big difference in these mostly Hydraless fights. The Zealot, the armor helps so much for them to tank through that. They're able to just do so much more damage if they can stand and fight for longer. Hydras, you can see, are melting these Zealots pretty quickly, and in fact, he will just back away, look for a better trade and a tighter choke. Zealots will have to leave him alone for now. Trying to take a base at the center left. If he gets the 4th base online, that's going to be a catastrophe for effort. If he doesn't have Hive, he can transition to Hive right now, and it's okay. But if he stays on this layer tech and Rich gets the 4th base online, it's a bit disastrous. You can't be sitting here on a layer tech only as a Zerg player and contest a 4 base Protoss. That's a little bit too much. They have too many Templar at that point. 4 gases. So many Templar can be leveraged against this mostly Hydralisk and Ling army. Lurkers as well, of course, but Lurkers don't do much better against Storms than Hydras. Pushing forward here with a massive Dragoons, and yeah, the Dragoon number is going to get super high as well. Once there's just this giant core of Dragoons with just a ton of Templar, you can never fully engage the army without just getting stormed to death. And yeah, there's the Queen's Nest finally coming online here, but I feel like it's a little bit too late. Should have had that coming online a little bit sooner. He's just gonna have to fight this army with nothing but Ling, Hydra, Lurker coming forward with some Scourge. He's trying to get the snipes, but the Storm runs right through it. Okay, gets the snipe on that 2nd Observer, and so he's really gonna shut down this attack. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Lurkers over at this center left to try and block the probes from being transferred. And that's one of the things you have to consider as a Zerg player. Sometimes it's not possible to stop a base from going up, but it is possible to stop a probe transfer. And if you can just halt a probe transfer for a little bit of time, you can effectively deny the base for a bit. Slow down the Protoss player. He does get a Lurker over there eventually, but the probes have already been transferred, and so Rich is going to continue with this aggression. Keep on gunning down tons of Lurkers here. That core army of Dragons. He does snipe down an Observer. This is really key for effort to force the trade, force the army back by killing off that Observer over and over again. Here comes the Hydras, and you can just see too many Dragoons and Storms, man. He can blanket everything. How many Templar we got in here? 5 Templar. And does he have the upgrade? No amulet upgrade. Might as well get that at this point. That upgrade is really going to help out. Leaves the Lurker there. Doesn't know about it, I guess. He's only got 1 Observer. No, 2nd Observer there. Didn't bring it far enough to that side. And I don't think this Lurker will actually kill probes, will it? Okay, we'll get 1 probe. That's being transferred. That's a bit annoying. Another base here for effort. Pulling off some of his eggs, but not the eggs at the main base. A little bit funny there. Gonna bring forward the Scourge once again. Can he get a connection on the Observer? He's not bringing the Overlords far enough forward. See, the Scourge aren't even being targeted, but he didn't bring the Overlords to spot for that. I just here on the top side, we're gonna zoom out a little bit here as the fight comes in. And yeah, this is just what I was talking about. Once you engage with this layer-based army and there's this many storms, the Protoss player able to get those because of that 4 gas. You just can't really take these fights anymore. Lurkers are going to start to go down en masse. Dragoons can kind of crunch through all of this. How many storms are left? 2 more storms on this. Got another storm coming up shortly here as well. Ling's pushing forward. He does have crack upgrade now, finally, with that hive coming online. Still no defiler yet, but he's bringing forward even more lurkers here. Is Effort just going to be able to mass his way through the tech disadvantage? It seems like he's making it work, despite having no defiler. Able to somehow shove this back. He is going to come up here and get on top of some of these reinforcing High Templar. These kills are really impactful. Killing off this many High Templar at the end of the fight. In fact, Rich is just going to tap out, man. Even on 4 bases. He loses those extra Templar and he's just frustrated. He cannot push through. Effort with an excellent defense there. That was a crazy big fight. So many like waves of reinforcements coming through from especially this top right base. So many hatches over here, bringing everything through, and then surrounding from the top side, having that big spread. He didn't even flank the army, which a lot of Zerg players will try to do. Bring in a bunch of Hydras from the back and try to flank the army. Just coming in a big wave, supporting the lurkers and holding back Rich. Very impressive stuff from Effort, just keeping that macro going continuously. We're going to jump into one more game between Rich and Effort before we go, guys. Let's jump into that now. All right, guys, on to our second game with Rich versus Effort. Rich over here in the bottom right, Effort over in the top left. Once again, overpool from Effort. Looks like this probe going to go ahead and scout the Overlord. That's kind of an interesting scout path, huh? Probe goes directly over to center right, checks for an Overlord, and then comes up to top center, checks for an Overlord. If you're a Protoss player out there, might be a good idea to copy this scout path on Polestar, which is the map we're currently on. Seems to have worked out pretty darn good for Rich. He identifies where the Zerg is at and might be able to get the block on that. Not quite able to get that block, so is going to traverse up here into the main base. Knows that it's cross map, so could probably get away with Nexus then Cannon. We'll throw that down. Not halting too much on probe production. He's really keeping up with the probes, so maximizing his economy here, waiting for that first group or a pair of Lings to come out, and the moment he sees it, gonna throw down that cannon. As long as it's down by the time these or before these Lings come down the ramp, you're probably gonna be okay. Gateway here at the natural as well, and of course Effort has no idea where exactly Rich is at, and so you know he's gonna have to spread out, send his Lings in different directions, and we'll only end up scouting the front with 1 Ling. So even with him coming in right as that cannon's finished, he's not going to be able to do any sort of a run by. That's the fear, that you'll be able to get a couple of Lings in, then things can get kind of complicated for the Protoss player. No probe here to block, so maybe with 2 more Lings. You're coming along this edge and going directly in. If there's no probes to block, you might be able to get 1 or 2 Lings into the main. Just gonna poke here at the front, sees the cannon is done. Nexus is finished as well. He will alter the trajectory of this Overlord, get some information. Back at home, Lair is on the way here. Cybercore coming up for our Protoss player. And let's take a look at the timing here on when +1 ends up getting added. because that's going to reveal a lot. You can see him poking in just slightly. He missed the Zealot walking out. That's kind of big, actually. The Zealot getting around outside of the vision here of these Lings, just barely sneaking through this pathway. Should have been able to see that, but I think his Lings were just slightly further back. He managed to slip out. He will be spotted by this Overlord, though. This scout is quite big. See, the Lings are going to be sent back now. He wasn't really building much Lings, only had 2 Lings on the way, so he will have to add more than that. Ling speed is going to finish up here soon. But at least he got that forewarning. If he didn't get that forewarning, then he could have ended up losing a drone or something. Oh, will he lose a drone? Oh, so close. Really, really close to losing that drone. Nice block with the egg. That was intentional, by the way, from Effort. Really sick little egg block there, blocking the Zealot from running away and trying to get behind the mineral patches. Another Zealot has made its way over here. And a Ling checking around this area, but he's not going to find and confirm that Zealot and where it's at on its movement path. Oh, there we go. He does spot it. Zealot has been found. This is some really good play from Effort, honestly, to send these Lings everywhere. It takes a lot of attention to detail to find this Zealot and deal with it appropriately. He's going to come over here and check as the Zealots are moving out, hitting his build back at home, getting these extra hatcheries on the way as the Spire finishes up. That first Corsair finally going to pop out and head across the map. Little jet boosters there, propelling it forward as it heads here towards that main base. Looks like the Spire's going to finish just right in the nick of time, though. There it is. 2 sets of Scourge. 1 for scouting, 1 to deal with this first Corsair. Corsair just hanging out here in the middle for a moment, Rich. Definitely needs to get in there and spot what's going on here as soon as possible. We'll see the second gas, the Hydralis Den, and the extra evolution chamber. Of course, the hatchery here as well. Spots the Scourge popping out. Needs to make a beeline back to the main. Looks like he will be able to save that Corsair. Zealots moving out on an angle here. Has that been spotted by Effort? I'm not entirely sure. A lot of Lings are coming out here, though, and there it is. He's definitely seen it now. Pulse around here. Not all the Lings attacking at the same time, but it looks like they will be able to deal with these Zealots. No problem. Great surround there. Deals with that. Zealot over here still just kind of hanging out, waiting for an opportunity. But I think Effort will be ready to deal with that. No problem here coming up. Going directly into his Templar archives. Some possible Dark Templar to come out here. As that +1 on the way. Going to be finishing up soon. But losing this many Zealots early on. And he even went for the second gateway in the natural, by the way. To really get out enough Zealots to put on some pressure. Effort dealing with that flawlessly. Now there's not a lot of leeway here for Rich to put on any pressure to the Zerg. He's just going to be macroing up like crazy and getting himself into a very good spot. DT comes out as the Hydras make their way over towards the natural. Overlord speed still not done. I have 1 Hydra here in the natural, ready to try and block this, but gets an Overlord. Not bad. 1 Overlord already going down, but gonna come right up here to the front. Oh my goodness, this is a daring attack from Effort. Gonna jump right on top of these cannons. He in fact will kill both cannons. Can go after the High Templar now. That High Templar does not have energy, barely not enough energy to cast the Storm. Hydra's running up into the main base. Cannons are gonna try to come up here, but the Lings here in the natural actually gonna deny that. Some more probes going down. This is a kind of crazy attack from Effort that wasn't meant to kill, but is doing a great job in slowing down Rich's efforts to get his Templar number up and keep these cannons up. He just can't keep the cannons up. Another nice snipe there, getting rid of a cannon right as it starts. I don't think that was canceled, and so immediately forcing that to be destroyed. That's awesome. Awesome work for Effort, who's now pushing out with Overlord speed and a lot of Hydras. This is a scary moment for Rich, who has quite a few Zealots and a DT out on the map, but not sure if he can fully engage with this or not. He will try to get this around. Let's take a look at the upgrades. No armor here, but +1 is done. +1 attack also done for these Hydras. Target fire onto the Dark Templar is very nice. You can see good rounds of units popping out here. No +2 just yet. Got to get that started here soon. Don't want to fall behind in that upgrade war. There's that +2 starting now. Effort sending forward quite a few Hydras, up to 41 drones now, taking his 4th base. A little light on drones overall, and we'll make a round of those here in a moment. Overlord does end up dying. Overlord goes down, and there could be a counterattack now. Counterattack of Zealots heading northward. However, only 2 cannons in the natural means he's a little bit afraid of getting busted. There are 2 storms available, but with some proper dodging... Okay, these Zealots are going to make the full wraparound. This is a good trade for Rich to get on top of this right now. Killing off some of these Hydras and also supply blocking Effort for a moment. Effort struggling a little bit here as he gets unsupply blocked. A few more Overlords pop out. Corsairs over here in the top right. Actually needs to bring the Scourge to bear. Again, not enough Corsairs, even with the +1 to 2-shot these Scourge, so he can just bring Scourge along and deal with those. Get a couple of hits. Not if he turns, but yeah, if he flies directly in, he will get those kills, no problem. Taking a fight here as he tries to push out towards the middle. Good storm dodge. Should be able to get the snipe on that Templar now. Does get it. Going after the Dragoons one by one. Excellent control out of our Zerg player. Effort running forward. Another Dragoon kill. Sacrificing some Hydras, but these are sacrifices he is willing to make. 52 drones now, and that 4th base is up. I believe this is going to be a commitment to Hydra layer style, excuse me. And that can be hard on this map. This is a very easy base to hold for the Protoss player. Very difficult to break. And he really does need to contest that 3rd, and especially the 4th. Once that 4th base comes up, like I've said in the past, you need to have that hive at least rolling. And if you're really committed to this layer-based style, hive is the last thing on your mind. You're all about trying to shut down these bases. He does save this Overlord here on the side. Still 4 Corsairs sharking around looking for those kills. Could send out a DT as well to capitalize on the spaces of detection that are missing because of these Corsairs pushing away those Overlords now and then. Looks like you'll get another one. And this comes at a time right before Lurkers are about to be made. Okay, no, actually, excuse me. Lurkers have already been made. We've got 6 Lurkers here. What can he do with this? I tell you, the first few Lurkers, the first like 5, 6 Lurkers that you make, they're so important. You have to make good use out of them. If they end up getting stormed and surrounded and killed, it's kind of a nightmare situation for the Zerg player. You have to set these up, and he's just setting them up defensively, not going across the map and trying to do something like, you know, draw the army over towards the natural and then come in with the Lurkers and set up a little position there. Making some Lurker eggs over at the center right base, trying to keep himself and these couple of Hydras safe in that corner. Looks like the Lurkers will end up finishing and can bring those out a little bit later. The 3rd base is fully up and online now for Rich. Doesn't transfer too many probes over there just yet, but if he wants to get proper mineral smoothing, we'll move some of those over here soon. Lurkers that were morphed in center right are going to get caught running out. Can he actually get any kills on these? No, and the Hydras are going to make a counterattack right as this is happening, diving in. Can he actually get a snipe on the Nexus here? He's going to try and make some Lurker eggs to make himself a little bit of a wall so that the Zealots can't hit him, but he's not going after the Nexus, instead just fighting these Zealots, and eventually they will wrap around and they will kill all of these Hydras. The eggs there are probably going to have to be canceled as well. Running forward, trying to get some High Templar snipes. One High Templar goes down. Another one with an abundance of energy. Does manage to survive, though. Lurkers, can they burrow? They will be able to burrow. 3, 4 Lurkers there. He does get a big line. 6 kills on that one Lurker. This one going to run behind the gas geyser. Still yet to burrow. Running in again towards this natural. Hard to keep up with all the moves from Effort right now as he pokes and prods at Rich, trying to get lucky here with some kills. Trying to do a hold position, cheeky hold position play with this Lurker, hoping that a big pile of drones would be sent to this base and he could get a huge spine there, but it doesn't end up working out. Going for his +1 armor now as we see Amulet on the way. Is this going to be second evolution chamber? No Queen's Nest just yet. Another hatchery being added, still continuing on with this layer-based play, but we are going to see a transition eventually, it seems. Switching over into Hive. No reason to get that extra evolution chamber unless he's going to start upgrading Ling attacks. Once the Ling attacks start to go, you need to get into, of course... oh gosh, this is pretty rough. Running in Lurkers like this is really not going to pay off. 5 Lurkers die nearly for free there. You will manage to kill a few Corsairs. Yeah, you're going to need that Adrenal Glands upgrade if you're going to start pumping out Lings anytime soon. Adrenal Glands going to be super key. Can he shut down this base over here? It looks like he may be able to do so. Was heading over towards the natural to see if he could pick up some more Templar kills, but instead, drawing the army down to bottom center, he manages to take out center right. Now, can he stop this base down at 6 o'clock? I don't necessarily think so. The army of Rich is a little bit too big at this point. Taking a look at the upgrades, he's got +1 armor, or +1 attack, +2 armor. +1 armor is done, so Lings are going to be quite survivable for the time being. Hasn't started the +2, so eventually Rich is going to have that advantage again. Big storms here in the middle as the Hydras try to retreat. Effort falling back, and more Lurkers are being made. Lings are in production. Actually, 11 Hydras in production right now. I thought he would be more committed to Lings. Double expansion, 1 in the top right, 1 in the center left. Going to be thrown down here. Effort looking for more kills here and there with his Hydras. Trying to pick off some Dragoons and High Templars. Anything that he can find with these Hydras is excellent. Has a couple of Lurkers here center right, but hasn't been able to maneuver a counter attack down to bottom center in order to get a kill or cancel on that base. And we are going to see Rich move up to that 4 bases. Oh gosh, running right in here. 2 Templar go down. Can he get a 3rd? It looks like not. A lot of good storms go down, and the Lurker line is a little bit spread out right now. I don't see many Lurkers here. 1 Lurker, 2 Lurkers. And with one of them going down, this is looking like a pretty large spread from our Zerg player. Ooh, this 1 Lurker getting a lot of damage. That's pretty lucky for Effort. Not really committing to the defense on either end. And still doesn't have that Hive. Guys, I'm really worried about Effort here. He made that 2nd evolution chamber and he never started the +1 attacks for Lings, which is kind of the point. That's the point of the next evolution chamber. And then eventually to get into Hive so you can get that Adrenal Glands upgrade. He's going to spread out here with his Lurkers, but he doesn't have a lot of fodder to help out. That's a good chunk of Dragoons bearing down on him. Coming in from behind, he's going to try and hit this from multiple angles. We're going to zoom out here as the army comes in from the front. Ooh, big storm in the middle of all these Hydras. That's a huge one. He did manage to pick up a couple of Templars on this side, but the Hydras on the right end up going down pretty quickly. Now, a lot of drones were transferred over to this base. That's a big loss, but he still does have a backup over in the top right. Maybe he can get some drones over to that location and keep this game going. He is going to get between the rally point, and I've talked about this earlier. Sometimes it's not possible to deny the base, but it is possible to deny occasionally the... Oof, that's rough. The probe transfer, and that's almost as good. Almost as good to deny that probe transfer. Coming into the natural, a lot of Templar here. The gas is really starting to roll in for Rich, and so Effort having a very difficult time taking any sort of a trade. The Dragoons are now on top of this base. It survived longer than I thought it would, but it's about to go down. His drones trying to just eke out as many minerals as possible before all of this goes away. It looks like they will finally start to die here. Effort trying to bring in a few more units, maybe just to sort of clean this up, but it's hard to engage when there's so many Templar. And GG is finally called as the flank comes through. Rich takes this game away. Well played by him, hanging on. It's just a little surprising to see Effort try so hard with this layer-based play. I want to see him go into a hive when the situation calls for it, but he seemed not really willing to try and make that work. He really wanted to just play this kind of back and forth style where he's hitting with Hydras and counterattacks over and over and over again and just denying the fourth base, and doesn't end up working out here. Rich takes the victory. GG, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to support, hit the like button, subscribe, and watch out for more great Broodwar content. See you in the next video.